The October 7th, 2015 meeting of the Thousand Oaks Council on Aging is now being called to order. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, our first order of business today is to swear in a new member of the council.
Tony, if I could have you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you're about to enter?
I do.
Very good. If I could have you sign. Just right there. Okay. You're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gitt, would you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Well, good afternoon. My name's Tony Gitt. I'm a recent retiree from the aerospace industry. Over my career, I've worked on a number of missile programs, airline inertial navigation systems, and the first GPS receivers. And since I retired, I've been delighted to try to contribute to give back to the community that I was partaking of for so long, and I'm just glad to be here and look forward to working with the committee. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you. We'll now have the roll taken by Staff Liaison Francine Sprigal.
Please stay here present when I call your name. Commissioner Allen. Present. Chair Fotheringham.
Here.
Commissioner Gitt.
Here.
Commissioner Gorbach.
Here.
Commissioner Hagee.
Here.
Vice Chair Healy is absent. Commissioner Norkin.
Here.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Here.
And Commissioner Shentes. Thank you.
Okay. We're now ready for public comments. A speaker card, a colorful speaker card, is available if you'd like to make a comment before us today, and there's some available on the table at the back of the room. Speakers are requested to state their name and city of residence for the record when they speak. Our first public comment will be from our friend Jane Messier.
Why do you always make me go first?
You filled out the card first.
I gotta learn. My name is Jane Messier, as you can see by my badge, so it must be true. Can you hear me, by the way? Oh, I feel your pain. Okay. I'm here to announce the next and last Transportation Committee workshop that SAM Transit is going to give. That'll be on October 21st at the Goebel Center from 12:30 to 2, with an optional bus tour of 30 minutes after that, and there'll be plenty of time to ask questions. Please, if you're interested or if you know anyone that might benefit from this experience, please have them call the front desk at Goebel at 805-381-2744. What we aim to do is try to take the fear factor out of leaving your car at home. These events have always been well attended, been very popular, and the main focus is on public transportation, dial-a-ride changes, and the recently implemented driver reimbursement program. So we'll be touching on all those plus a few more. I'm very pleased to announce, fanfare please, there is now a second bus on the Green Route, which is the one that services the Goebel Center and Library. It was a long time coming, but it's here, folks, and I'm really glad about that. This is great information to put in your back pocket. Along the way, we managed to have a little fun, too. So I'm just reminding you of the day, October 21st, 12:30 to 2, and call Global Center to make a reservation. Now, I see by the egg timer that Francine just turned over that my 5 minutes of fame are up. So if there are no questions from council, I wish you all a happy and safe Halloween. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
I told you we had some fun.
All right. Our next comment will be from Jim Searden.
You know, I left my really silly hat at home, but it wasn't that good anyway. I'm with the Global Commission, and I wanted to bring a couple of events to your attention. You'll get the full story of what's going on there later on in the program, but the Commission is sponsoring some ongoing events, and there's one coming up this Sunday. It's part of our History Comes Alive series, which have been very popular, and this one is entitled The Beatles and Me on Tour, and it's presented by Ivor Davis. Now, this is a guy that was a reporter, and he was assigned in 1964 to get to know, hang out, and travel with this new group of guys from Liverpool called the Beatles. And he's got a lot of inside stories of what that must have been like. And it's a particularly critical time in the history of music, and certainly the history of rock and roll. The program, as I say, is Sunday. It starts at 2 p.m. at the Global Center. There is a cost of $5. The doors will be opened at 1:30, and because it's so hot, if you get there a little earlier, you'll be in the building. You may not get into the room specifically, but we'll have you out of the sun. Reservations are requested, but we will be taking people at the door as far as space allows. So that's our next History Comes Alive. And another one of our very successful programs that we've gotten going that is sponsored by the Commission is our Music Comes Alive programs. And I don't know if there's anybody in the audience that have come to one of those. They've been sellouts, every single one of them. We have the big room completely full. We had a Frank Sinatra impersonator, followed by an Elvis impersonator who just tore it up. And our last group was a British beat band. And they did all of the music from the early 60s, the Stones, the Beatles. And I sat in the back, and it was it was just so, I don't know what charming or something to see this room full of seniors and boomers just rocking, and a lot of people getting up and dancing. Good time. Our next event, which is not for a month now, it's November the 8th, Sunday, November the 8th, again at the Global Center, again at 2 p.m., again doors open at 1:30, again $5 for a ticket. You will need reservations for this because it will be sold out. But this is the Riverboat Dixie Jazz Band. And this is kind of a family band that plays Dixie and jazz from the old days. And it's described as upbeat and toe-tapping. Now, you know, you can't say toe-tapping without a little smile on your face. So I invite you all to these events. Please put this in your calendar. Get a reservation early. We will sell out. And for those, just a quick message out to the audience across the city here. If you're not familiar with what's going on at the Global Center, you drive by, you're not sure what goes on there, or you haven't been there in quite a while, I invite you to show up. I promise you there's been many changes, many upgrades in the facility, and there is absolutely something for everyone. Come join us. I really think you'll enjoy it. And thank you for your time.
Jim, I assume that if we didn't get all that information, that we can find it all in the Global Gazette.
You can indeed, and I cleverly left flyers right here on the table for anyone who's interested. So you at home, come run down and get the flyers. So.
All right, thank you, Jim. Okay, and our next speaker is Linda Parks, our county supervisor.
Hello, good afternoon. What wonderful things coming your way. And another one I'm here to talk about is the Senior Summit, and that's going to be on November 14th at Cal State Channel Islands. This is our 5th Senior Summit in the last 10 years. Each one has a different theme, and this year's theme is There's No Place Like Home. It has the theme of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. However, the whole emphasis is about homes and being able to be in your own home and services available to help you to stay at home, and if not, places where you can love and live also. So this summit, I want to encourage everyone to attend, and some of the features of the workshops I'd like to mention. We have workshops from staying in your ruby slippers, and this is about avoiding the everyday dangers in home care, so you don't trip and fall. That's been one of the emphasis, and also how you can put additions to your home to make it easier for you to navigate. And that one is one of the workshops. We also have one about pull back the curtain on technology, and this lets you find some great ways that you can use technology in your home to help stay there. Innovative technology, telecommunication type things, medical availability of medical information that you can get, and all doing that at home. Another one of our workshops is finances, mortgages, and loans. Oh my! And you can guess what that's about. Another one is Click Your Heels for in-home services. And this one will talk about the types of in-home services that are available to you. Another workshop is Bringing the Wizard of Oz to You, and that's talking about medical aid that can come to your home. And then we also have Help for Auntie M, and that talks about your care providers and being able to make sure that they too have the resources that they need. Another workshop is Follow the Yellow Brick Road, and this is when living at home isn't an option, as I mentioned, new paths for senior living, and also being a little bit creative too, and other ways that besides just the types of normal residential facilities we see. The real ulterior motive for me is to see that people become interested in home share. And I know you're going to have a topic on that, and I'll let you hear more about it. But the idea that we have a large housing stock out there, and what a great combination to be able to hook people up, and we have a service at the county that will help you do that too. And we also have a lot of people out there that could benefit from having someone with them. You know, it can be pretty lonely out there to have someone, or maybe just to help you do your. I don't want to take her speech away, but I just think it's a great thing, and that's really what my emphasis is. I would love all 350 seniors or whatever that show up at this conference to fill out a card and say they're interested in learning more, because I think we could hook up more. Another one of our topics is Ding Dong, is affordable housing dead? And you hear so much about affordable housing for the millennials, or housing for farm workers, but you don't hear enough about housing for seniors. And I really think we need to work on that. And when we leave the conference, we're going to leave it with your recommendations on how the County of Ventura can work on their strategic plan and include your comments. So this isn't just a learn, it's also an ability to have your input. Avoid the Wicked Witch of Scams. You know about how seniors can be scammed, so that's another workshop. And then our 10th workshop is the Merry Old Land of Oz, and this focuses on the village-to-village concept. So some of the fun things you could do in between the topics, between the workshops, we have our animal services folks are going to be there, so we're calling it Antoto 2, because they need a home. We also have one on the heart, the brain, the nerve, what I like to say, the noive, right? And that's learning CPR techniques. And also, I think one of another, this is a funny title, I like that one, Avoid the Flying Monkeys. And that is get a free flu shot. So we're doing free flu shots. And one of the neat things, I'm really glad to say, we give out an award for the Active Eldest Award, and I know Harry Norkin keeps managing to get that one, right? And we have it for both the male and female Eldest Active Senior Award. This one we are now changing the name of the award to the Mel Silberberg Active Eldest Senior Award in honor of Mel. So many of us loved him. I just want to reemphasize, you can all sign up. It's going to be available online for registration. It begins online. You can register October 26th. And the key is that the conference is November 14th. I've been told to save that date again. It's November 14th from 9 to 2:30. That's a Saturday. And we have buses again available for everybody. So you not only get a free lunch, a free continental breakfast kind of thing, but you also have free bus service. And thanks to the city of Thousand Oaks, we are having some buses from Thousand Oaks that they're providing so you can get there. And we're doing that throughout the entire county. So seniors throughout the county, if you take a bus, you get raffle tickets. I think they can't call them raffle tickets, opportunity drawings. And so we encourage everyone that you'll be able to win prizes on the bus if you take that bus there, and it will be going right across from the senior center where the bus will be here in Thousand Oaks. Also, we want people to bring cans of food. So every can of food you bring, you get a raffle ticket also, and the canned foods will go to for example, out here we have Manna, and we also have a couple other agencies that provide food, particularly for seniors too. So bring those cans of food, take the bus there. I know you'll enjoy the workshops, and we also have some great keynote speakers too. With that, I'm available for questions. I'm really looking forward to this. It takes us a couple years to put one of these on. That's why we don't have them every year. But I am very excited about this one. My assistant Venice is here, who helps me coordinate these. Actually, basically coordinates it on her own. The website is at ventura.org, Senior Summit, and they have it Senior-Summit. And I think if you go to the ventura.org website, you can also go to my webpage, Linda Parks, and you'll get a link to it that way too. But again, it will start October 26th for registering, and I hope you'll all come. I hope you all take the bus and win plenty of prizes and learn a lot. So thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to let you all know about it. And thanks again to the city for providing a bus service from here in Thousand Oaks. So I know that you need to get on with your meeting, and I can take questions too afterwards. So does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay.
We have one question here.
We can't take questions.
She was wondering, the location is at Cal State Channel Islands, and they've been wonderful too. It's a great facility if you've been there before. So look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye.
All right, thank you, Linda. Next item on our agenda are commissioner reports. And our first commissioner report is going to be on a SAMP report on the village-to-village effort. This was to be given by Vice Chair Healy, who's not with us today. I'll attempt to fill in and be a poor second to that. Right now, as we speak, there is a national conference of the village-to-village network that's going on in Seattle, and I've been up there for the last couple of days attending that, and it's still going on today. So some of the people who are more expert on this effort and so forth are still up there. I think the important thing that there is an effort right now to develop a village in the Conejo Valley, and it is going to be called the Conejo Valley Village. We've actually reserved that name with the state of California, so it belongs to us now. There will be an informational meeting for anyone who's interested in that on October 26th. Actually, there are going to be two back-to-back meetings. We had a similar meeting on July 29th, and we filled the room to overflowing, and there were about 30 people that weren't able to get in because of the fire code. So we wanted to prevent that. Again, it'll be in the same room, which is the large room, meeting room in the library. And we're going to have two back-to-back meetings. The first one begins at 4 p.m. and the second one at 5:30 p.m. and so forth. So hopefully if we fill up the room on one meeting, people will be able to attend the second one. And that will provide people with who have no idea what's going on with this village-to-village effort. It's an introductory presentation on it, and then for those of you who have been following it and so forth, it'll provide an update on the activities that are going on and have been going on since our June 29th meeting. So hope to see you all there at one or the other of those meetings. Our next commissioner report will come from Loretta on emergency preparedness, safety and emergency preparedness.
Thanks. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. We started this discussion at our last meeting in June, and I want to point you to the website that we have on emergency preparedness with all the floods and the earthquakes and everything. It seems to be a good season to be reminded of what we need to have. And there will be this PowerPoint will be with our meeting notes on the TO website. But there's a very nice summary document, and on the last meeting, we talked about the essentials and everything you needed. But today, I just want to quickly go through some of the highlights that you may or may not think about as far as cooking supplies, your safety and comfort, your tools and miscellaneous things that might be a good reminder, finances, and then some real quick thing on personal items and issues of concern. There's on the website, it gives you all the normal ones about plastic knives, spoons, and sporks. But one of the interesting things on this one was to have in your goodie box for an emergency, put in some aluminum foil, because that's very good. Rather than dirtying pans, you can just line the pan you have in your goodie box with the foil and then just toss it out. And I thought that was a obvious but many times overlooked reminder. Otherwise, if you have a barbecue or a camping stove, that's always good to have. And especially if you have one that runs on propane or something, so that you don't have to use a fire to cook on. Then the next thing is the safety and comfort. It has all the obvious ones, and if you listen to the presentation last time, it talked about your sturdy shoes, but it reminds you some heavy work gloves in case you need to clean debris away. As far as candles go, it's really better to have new batteries and a light source that doesn't operate using candles. Light sticks are a really good one. Also some clothing and a garden hose. And if you happen to have a tent, that wouldn't hurt either. Paper, pens. I don't know about stamps. It has that on there, but I don't know that you're going to be doing a lot of mailing in this period of time. But pen and paper, never give up your pen and paper. And I used to teach clinical information systems all the time, and I used to tell them, you never give up your pen and paper. And then things that'll keep you busy and not stressed, like games and different things like that, especially if you have kids or grandkids with you. Some tools and miscellaneous are the three triad, the axe, the shovel, and a broom. And then I don't know about the rest of you, but I have next to my water heater, because I still have an old-fashioned gas water heater, a wrench for turning it off. So that's always really good to have. And then just a little toolkit, should you need it, some rope. If you have to fix a window, tape and the staple gun, etc. And if you happen to have a bicycle, that's not too bad to have around. And if your cell phones might not work, so you might need the old-fashioned paper and map system to know where to go for things. Then, regarding your finances, it's because everything's so automated and interconnected, there might be failure of services. And I'm sure, like in the earthquake, if you were here in the earthquake of 2014, then you know that a lot of the companies were very forgiving about late payments and things like that. Your funds might not be automatically available because if there's a disruption in service. So you need to worry about that. So it's always good to have cash on hand because as in 2014, cash was gold in the San Fernando Valley. Now, just another couple items here on the personal items or issues of concern. If you have your stuff in good order and you have all your warranties and everything in one place, then that I know my friends in the Valley had a real problem with that because they didn't have theirs in good organization. But if you have anything like a video of all your goods and things in the house, that's really good to put in have it in a safe place so that you can grab it and throw it, take it with you if you have to leave and then something happens with the house. What we used to do in clinical systems, most of the hospitals and sites in California keep a backup of their data, but it's in another state because of the California earthquake proneness. So I laughed when I saw that on the list, that make copies and keep them in another city or state. So if you have family that lives somewhere that could keep copies of your important papers, because you might not be able to get into a vault for your safety deposit box or anything like that in California. So that's always a good idea. So anyway, again, I want to refer you to the website, and there's a nice printout of about 2 or 3 pages that'll give you all of this that you can just print out and start getting things ready, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it's going to happen, because we live in this kind of a earthquake country. Thanks.
Thank you. I have one question on that.
Okay.
The problem that we tend to worry about the most is an earthquake, and which we damage our home, and what reason we're keeping much of this stuff is to prepare for surviving when we can't use our home. And part of the problem is that we may be prohibited from going in our home and may be declared unsafe to enter. And
like
so we're
fires.
often advised to put things outside, either outside or inside, but very close to a door or window where you can reach it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Without actually physically going into the home. But you mentioned cash resources or something like that. And I'm sure we're not advising people to put their cash outside.
No. No, because somebody else might enjoy it before you eat it. No, but to just have something available, and somewhere safe, and just remember to get it when you run out of the house.
Right. All right, our next commissioner report is by Commissioner Shentes on fraud.
Well, this is the time of year when you can change your Medicare plan. And next month, I believe we're going to have a speaker telling you exactly what that is and what you can do about it. But for now, I'm going to tell you something about Medicare fraud, because this is obviously a good time of the year for someone to try and scam you. You're susceptible to information. So someone may call you up and say they can get you some kind of a medical equipment that you might want to have. You may not need it, but you might like to have it. And they can get it for you. And what they need from you is your Medicare number and, if possible, a doctor's name. And they can put up a fake prescription and actually get that equipment. Thing is, they'll give it to you, they'll keep it. And then if you ever want to get it for yourself, when you really need it later on, you won't be able to. You have to be very careful with your Medicare and other personal information. And you may have noticed on your Medicare card, your Medicare number is your Social Security number, which I'm sure you guard with your life. Now, what I have done, now you don't have to carry your Social Security card with you wherever you go, but you do have to have your Medicare card with you at all times. In case you have a medical emergency, you're going to need it. Well, what I've done and what I've been advised to do is don't carry the original card with you. Make a copy of it. Cross out some of those Social Security numbers that are in there and carry the copy with you. And that is just as effective. I've never had any trouble showing people the copy with crossed out numbers, and the same, nobody ever said they couldn't take it. If somebody calls you on the phone and says they're from Medicare, they want to help you with something, that's a fraud. Right away, you should know that, because Medicare doesn't call you like that. What they're doing is they're trying to get in. One of the first things they try to do is to get your Medicare number, which is, as I said, is your Social Security number. Actually, you should never, ever give any personal information to someone who calls you cold. Only give information like that to people that you have called and that you know. And one of the things you should do is Medicare sends out about on a quarterly basis what they call a summary of benefits. And this has a list of all the services you have received in that quarter, with the doctor's name or the provider's name and what it is they had done to you. Now, if you see, you should check that every time, because if you see something else on there that you did not do, you did not go to Dr. So-and-so on such or such a date, you want to report that. That's obviously a fraud. And on this summary of benefits form that you will get, they will tell you exactly what to do if you think you have been defrauded. If you happen to have Medicare Advantage, the insurance company will send you a similar kind of form called what's it called again? It's called explanation of benefits, which is what they've paid out. And these would probably be one of your first clues, an error on there that somebody has your information. Now, I know we're all too smart to be caught up by one of these frauds, but people have been caught up on these frauds who are really very smart, who've graduated from college, have responsible jobs, and sometimes they even have responsible jobs in the finance industry, and they still get caught up. These scammers are very, very good. They could sell refrigerators to Eskimos. Although Eskimos do need refrigerators because it's too cold out there. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope that's been helpful. I hope you'll come next month when we're talking about the Medicare open enrollment period.
All right. Thank you, Martin. If I might sort of supplement your comments a little bit, you mentioned being careful about passing personal information over the phone and only giving it to people you call. You probably should also be a little cautious about where you get that phone number. Don't call a phone number you get from an email, and trust that the person on the other end is the proper authority. And what I might suggest is that when you get statements from Medicare or so forth, you can find contact phone numbers on those statements, the statement you think came from a legitimate source, and copy those into your telephone directory and so forth, and use those phone numbers rather than one somebody sends you from a source you might trust less. And also on the back of credit cards, there are phone numbers that you might copy down too in case you lose the card for contacting them. So keep phone numbers you trust close to you and be wary of others. So, our next commissioner report is on education from Commissioner Gorbach.
Great. Thank you very much, Chair Fotheringham. In Thousand Oaks, we are so fortunate to have so many wonderful resources, and today I'm going to tell you about something that I found really remarkable. So I hope that you folks follow up on this. California Lutheran University, right here in Thousand Oaks, provides the opportunity for seniors aged 65 and better to audit one class each semester free of charge. Now, while many colleges and universities provide audit opportunities, in many of them there is a fee to audit. This is free of charge, and that is remarkable. Auditing a class means that you may take one class each semester and are not required to do the homework assignments or take the exam. And of course, you will not receive any type of college credit either, but most of us audit classes for the pure joy and exhilaration of learning and are beyond needing college credit. And you can't go back later if you decide you want college credit. You can't go back and say, oh, I audited that class, I want credit now. Once you audit the class, that's it. But for us who just love learning something new, it is a fabulous, fabulous opportunity. The process is easy. All you need to do is go to the CLU website, which is clunet.edu. clunet.edu. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a search box, and put in senior audit, and that will take you to a link to the form. The form is very simple to fill out. Name, address, phone number, and the title and date of the class you want to take, along with the professor's signature who's teaching the class. Now, this is going to take a little bit of preparation on your part. For instance, today is near the beginning of October. CLU is in the middle of the fall semester, so you can't audit a class now. They've begun already. Now, I checked yesterday, and the spring 2016 schedule of classes is not quite online yet, but once it is, check it out. Spring schedule is going to begin sometime after the first of the year, but it's traditionally posted a couple months before it begins. So look through the schedule, see what you like, see who's teaching it, and then you need to find the professor who's teaching it. And the purpose of that is to have him or her sign off, but more important, to have a conversation. Have a face-to-face conversation about the course to be sure it's something that you really have an interest in and something the professor thinks that you would really enjoy. Auditing is not going to give you access to online education, but CLU has hundreds and hundreds of fabulous courses. So I intend to look into this, and I hope you do too. And let me know what you take and how you like it. And just a couple of other things that are coming up I'd like to fill you in on, because this is also wonderful. CLU has a lecture series. I keep this every year. It's the Fall-Winter 2015 cultural events. Not only lectures, but all sorts of very often free activities on their campus. But tomorrow night, there is a lecture called When Granddaddy Grew Up. And this is going to be about exploring the decade from 1910 to 1920 with CLU historian Professor Michaela Reeves. It's at 7 to 8:30, and you're going to see me there. So if you see me, say hello, because I never really know if anyone's watching out there in TV land. So be sure to come say hello. And I'm especially interested in this because my relatives came over from Eastern Europe at the turn of the last century. Last time I was in New York, I visited the Tenement Museum on the Lower East Side, and this lecture is going to be about that particular period in American history. So if you're available, and they are going to do lectures throughout the year, but this is the first one coming up tomorrow. And pardon? I'm sorry, it's at the Grant Brimhall Library, Thousand Oaks Library on Jans Road. Thank you. And then also at the library, coming up next week on October 13th, Cal State Channel Islands partners with the library also to do a lecture series. And the lecture on Tuesday the 13th is called Issues Surrounding the Declaration of Brain Death. In this presentation, brain death will be defined and distinguished from other conditions such as coma and persistent vegetative state. In addition, you'll learn about California law and medical issues surrounding brain death, and you'll review different recent cases will be presented for discussion, and there'll be a review of ethical issues. So this sounds very, very interesting also. And then finally, what I wanted to mention today is that the book that the City of Thousand Oaks has selected this year for the One City, One Book event is called The Book of Unknown Americans. So I read this last summer, and it is fabulous. You have to read this. This is fabulous. And just go into the library. They have hundreds of new paperbacks that you can check out, which is what I did. I checked it out. And there is going to be a discussion with the author coming up early November, but a variety of free activities surrounding this book. So it's a wonderful learning opportunity. Again, the book is called The Book of Unknown Americans by author Cristina Enriquez. So enjoy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Gorbach. We're now going to move on to our liaison reports. Our first report is for the Ventura County Area Agency on Aging, and our Vice Chair Healy was scheduled to do that report. He's not with us today, so I'm going to postpone that report till our next meeting. However, I think that as I recall, the report was to be about the Senior Summit, which Supervisor Parks already covered earlier in this meeting. So you may have heard it already, but if not, we'll have more next month. Our second report is from the Conejo Senior Volunteer Program, and I'm going to ask Commissioner O'Connor to introduce that.
Hi, the Council on Aging works closely with the wonderful organization called Conejo Senior Volunteer Program, and we're delighted, and I'm privileged to introduce Rick Tanaka, who is the director of the Conejo Senior Volunteer Program, and he's going to tell you all the good things that are planned up ahead. Thanks for being here, Rick.
Thank you very much. I am very excited to announce that preparation is underway for the 2016 Wellness Fest. Will be taking place at the Global Adult Community Center.
Nick,
Oh, sorry.
start over.
Thank you very much. I am very excited to announce that preparation is underway for the 2016 Wellness Fest that will be taking place at the Global Adult Community Center on January 20th. And this is the second time around for this event. It was, I must say, a tremendous success last year. We are at this point taking applications for sponsors and vendors to be a part of this. There is limited space available, so businesses in the area are encouraged to submit their applications as soon as possible. We are excited to announce that the City of Thousand Oaks has just come on board and agreed to offer shuttle service for parking at the event. We had so many people last year that many people had a hard time finding parking with reasonable walking distance. So there will be a shuttle service taking place this time around. There is a theme for this year's event. It is a circus theme. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are bringing all of your wellness needs under the big top at the Global Adult Community Center. It's going to be a lot of fun. With that, we are also seeking volunteers to provide the free-floating entertainment that will be taking place throughout. So if you or anyone you know has the skills and talents involved with being a mime, a magician, a balloon artist, or other such fun activities, you're encouraged to get in touch with me so that we can present you to the committee and maybe get you on board with this fun event. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I do look forward to seeing all of you there. If you have any questions about it, please contact the CSVP office. I do have flyers available at the desk here, and you can also go to the CRPD website and go to the CSVP page to see more information about this event. I do also want to tell you about the CSVP boutique, and you may be surprised to learn that it is October already, and the holidays are just around the corner. I know, it's hard to believe. And annually, the CSVP boutique, also at the Global Adult Community Center, does have its holiday sale. And this is just a plethora of fantastic homemade items made by the volunteers on a weekly basis at the Global Adult Community Center. And they do look forward to making items specific for this time of year, and there's a lot of great stuff there. I encourage you to come by even beforehand. We have a lot of great fall, Halloween, Thanksgiving items in the boutique right now. One more thing I want to make sure all of you volunteers are aware of is that the annual recognition luncheon is taking place. It's going to be at the North Ranch Country Club again this year. They always do a fantastic job for us. It's always a wonderful event. I really look forward to it. And I wanted to let you know about it because Tuesday, December 8th is when it takes place, but we are preparing to send out the invitations, and those invitations only go out to volunteers that have worked at least 150 hours over the year. So now's the time to get your hours turned in or submitted to your volunteer coordinator with whichever volunteer organization you work with, so that we can make sure that if you're eligible, you do receive that invitation. And I really hope to see as many people there as we have in years past. It's just a fun event, and I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner O'Connor. Our next liaison report is from the Global Adult Community Center, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Norkin to introduce that.
Caught me unawares. But I'd like to introduce Patty Ham, who's the director or the lead coordinator at the Global Center. She's in charge of all the activities, and she works very closely with the people. Patty, would you just tell us about the activities at the Global Center?
Thank you, Commissioner Norkin. Hello, my friends. Thank you, commissioners, for having me here today. Very exciting and amazing events we have planned for October. It's going to be very busy. First event, as you heard earlier, is going to be the History Comes Alive, presented by the Global Senior Center Commission, The Beatles and Me on Tour, presented by Ivor Davis. This Sunday, October 11th, trying to go to December already, at 2 o'clock. And it's $5, and you can purchase your ticket at the Global Center front desk. There are no phone reservations. You have to go in person. And then number 2 is next Friday, our Oktoberfest celebration. This is year 2 for us. Brats and Beer, Friday, October 16th, 5 o'clock at the Global Center, and we're going to be having German food, German music, dancing, and of course we're going to be having the German beer as well. That ticket is $7 per person, and it can only be purchased at the Global Center at the front desk. Number 3 for the month is the Halloween Tea Time, a Halloween-themed tea party for seniors on October 22nd, that's a Thursday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and we'll be serving a variety of spooky tea samplings, tiny tea sandwiches, and we'll have ghoulish company, of course. And you can purchase that ticket at the front desk for $5, and there's probably 6 spaces left for that. I checked before I left, so if you're interested in that, get in there today and sign up for the tea party. And we encourage you to wear a costume because that's more fun. And number 4 on the list, we're very excited about this collaboration with the Los Robles Hospital and the Medical Center and Ventura County Health Department. Will be offering a free community flu shot clinic on Saturday, October 24th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And it's a free flu clinic for all healthy people 60 years and older, and those who are 18 years with chronic illness, i.e. diabetes, heart disease, they're entitled to come as well, caregivers and healthcare workers. You can go ahead and you can call and sign up for a reservation for that. You don't have to go to the center. 805-381-2744. And our last event is our Halloween party that we're having on Friday, October 30th at 5 p.m. And we are going to be having a costume contest, of course. We'll have a band there, live music, and food, and pictures and fun, and it's $7 per ticket, and you have to purchase that at the Global Center. And that's it for October.
Thank you, Patty. Now we have some time for commissioner comments. Are there any commissioner comments? Yes.
I just was thinking a couple more things regarding auditing the class at CLU. If you want to purchase materials, if it's an art class and you want clumps of clay, or if you want the textbook, of course you need to purchase those. Those are not free. Okay. And then when you're done with the form, it goes back to the registrar's office. I think that's it.
Okay, any other comments? Yes.
The California Museum of Art, Thousand Oaks, has a speaker series. It's free. And if you or anyone you know is interested in wood art, contemporary wood art, it's called Speaking with Trees. It's going to be Tuesday, October 27th at 7 o'clock at the Hillcrest Center for the Arts Community Room. And the director of Ojai's, Beatrice Wood Center for the Arts, is going to discuss wood, how the artists use wood, how they choose between the different woods, and so it's something that's very unusual. If you're interested, again, it's Tuesday, October 27, 7 o'clock, Hillcrest Center for the Arts. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, well, let's move on to our guest speaker today, and I'd like to ask Commissioner Gorbach to introduce our featured speaker.
Thank you very much. Our featured speaker today is Monique Nolan, who is the Deputy Director for the Ventura County Area Agency on Aging, also known as the VCAAA. Ms. Nolan holds a master's degree in public policy and public administration and has been with the County of Ventura for more than 20 years in a variety of management capacities. Ms. Nolan is going to talk to us today about the VCAAA Home Share Program. The VCAAA Home Share Program recently received national recognition from the National Association of Area Agencies on Aging by winning an Aging Innovations Award, the highest honor presented to Area Agency on Aging member agencies. The award validates the effort of the VCAAA staff and support of the Advisory Council and the Board of Supervisors. We are very, very happy today to have Monique Nolan join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me here. I'm excited to be here and talk to you more about the Home Share program, demystify the process a little bit, and explain to you all how this program is a value add to the community. So I have a PowerPoint presentation. I've also put a couple of communication literature in the back for your edification when you leave if you don't remember everything that I say today. So thank you. We'll go ahead and get started. So home share, what actually is home share? Simplistically, home share is for what we traditionally know as having a room to rent and for people that are looking for a room to rent. What's unique about our home share services that we provide is that it's either service exchange, it can be strictly rent, or it can actually be a combination of both. And when I say service exchange, I'm talking about perhaps transportation, light chore services, could also be taking the trash out, meal preparation. I'm not talking about individual daily living skills because we're really careful that we don't cross over into the land of being an unlicensed board and care. So when we're talking about service exchange, that's what I mean, and or the more traditional payment of just strictly rent, or like I said, a combination of both. So home share is us connecting people that have rooms to rent for people that need rooms to rent. How did the concept start? So the concept has been around for a long time. A lot of people think that it's something that's unique to our county, but it's been around since the 70s, and it was seen as an alternative to the U.S. to alternative housing in the United States. In 1979, an organization known as the Affordable Living for the Aging received a 5-year federal grant to explore starting this particular housing concept, and since that time, and it's shifted in popularity. And not only is home share concept is it here in the United States, it's actually international. How did it start in Ventura County? So originally started by the city of Ventura in 1982, and in 1987 the program was sponsored by the Housing Authority of the County of Ventura. After an extended absence, the program reemerged in 2010 and became Home Share of Ventura. And it was a nonprofit organization that was housed at VCAAA, but not yet under our auspices. So we merely provided them space so that they can operate. And again, it was to Ventura specific. And then at that time, it was mostly senior providers that were helped and some younger seekers as well. So, in July 1st, 2014, HomeShare Ventura County came under the auspices of VC AAA, the Area Agency on Aging, and we took it over. So what we did is we took the model and we made it scalable. So we, instead of just being offered in the city of Ventura, we took it countywide. So now we have matches and we make matches and we have providers and seekers countywide, always looking for more opportunities to talk about the program, to talk about the process, to let people know that we're here and we're here to help. And we'll talk more about the process here in a minute. So now, instead of just being in Ventura, it's countywide. What else we've done is, although we primarily focus on seniors because that's the mission of the VC AAA, we've expanded the concept to include families, couples, and college students. So there's a 4-step program process. And let's just address the elephant in the room. Of course, the first thing people think of when I say, hey, I want to move into your home, is I don't know you. I don't know, who you are. I don't know where you've been. That's what we have to offer, is a detailed vetting process. It's not just you using the traditional form of maybe making up a flyer and throwing it up on the community board, or using Craigslist or a VC Star, or asking a friend and family. It's that and more, because we have a vetting process that we go through that makes both the provider and the seeker comfortable. So the application's filled out. It's a 4-step process. Applications filled out by not just the provider, but the seeker as well. That's entered into a database, and although machine moves man, man still moves machine, and we check out that data and make sure that the matches are compatible. The application, and I've got some here in the back, it's very thorough. We ask about preferences. Do you smoke? Would you live with a smoker? Do you have pets? Would you let pets live in your particular house? So we ask really detailed questions because it's about a fit. It's about a compatible fit, and it's a person-centered approach so that the match works for both parties, the provider and the seeker. The staff seeks out clients, and we make referrals. And as part of the process, as I mentioned, is a background check. There's reference checks, and I make those background checks and reference checks on both the provider and the seeker, because just because you're a homeowner doesn't mean that you are necessarily able to live with somebody else. So it's for the protection of the seeker as well. So we protect the provider and who's coming into your home, and we protect the seeker for whose home are you going into. So it makes it, again, client-centered and works for everybody. And, of course, the staff then makes the referrals. That leads to the matches contingent upon the preferences of both parties. It's a volunteer process. I can't tell you, yes, this person is going to move into your house. I can suggest and tell you, based on your preferences and what you've told me, this person is going to be a really good match. And then we'll talk more about the process and how it works and how you get to decide who actually moves in. Here's the application process, the applications, and at first blush it looks like they're identical, but in the upper left-hand corner we have an application for the provider, and then we have an application for the seeker. What's unique about the program as well as for the provider, what we do is we do a home check, so we make sure that they really do have that a room available, that if they're not the homeowners, that they have the homeowner's permission to let somebody move into that house, that everything that they've told us on the application is indeed true. There's a number of bathrooms, there's X bedrooms, there's pots, pans, etc. Because we really get very detailed in what the preferences are. Do I have to share a bathroom? Do I have to bring my own pots and pans? Can I bring my own pots and pans? Do I have to bring my own linens? It's really that specific. So again, that there's a very high level of comfort when we make that match, and that everything's understood. So the matching process. I like this picture because it's really about fitting puzzle pieces together. It's a bit of a science and art, because we're matching people, we're matching preferences. We take it very seriously because we want those matches to last, and it's our good name, our good word behind those matches. So what happens is, after the initial process, we look at the applications, we decide these two people are a match. It's a phone introduction, so I have an opportunity to talk to you, because it's people just like me, people just like you. I'm going to call you on the phone and say, I understand that you've been matched to me, you're a seeker, and you ask the questions that you want to ask to give you a level of comfort. Next comes the meeting. Many people like to have that anonymity of meeting in our office space, and so we provide that, so that first opportunity, you know that the application matches, you've had the opportunity to talk to them on the phone. Now it's about, I want to see you, I want to eyeball you, and I want to see if we get along, if this is going to work from my perspective and from the seeker's perspective. And I say but case by case because it really is a person-centered approach. As I've stressed earlier, we make sure that everyone is aware of how much rent that's going to be paid, aware of what services are going to be offered, because you really want to get that nailed down and vetted before move-in date. The match process. If you see here to the communication piece that I have there, I've got the college student with the senior. As I said, I'm really working on making those inroads with the college students so that I can match college students with the seniors, and that particular piece resonates with the students when I put it on the campus at CSUCI or El Cal Lutheran. I like the aspect of because of course the college kids need affordable places to live, and I like the intergenerational aspect. At the County of Ventura, at Area Agency on Aging, we focus on aging in place and being there as long as possible, whether you're an adult disabled or whether you're aging. And I like the intergenerational aspect, because what has been communicated to me back from the people that participate is when you're a home share person, provider, or seeker, it's not just about the financial arrangement or the companionship or the services you receive. Especially for the younger generation, they really become aware that there's seniors out there that need to be checked on, that sometimes are lonely. Maybe long after they've left the home share program, they see a senior down the street, and maybe they'll be a little more sensitive and offer that person some help or some transportation. And what I like to remind everybody is we're all going to be seniors. It's not something that any of us can avoid. So we want to all be mindful and keep that in consideration. And in the industry term, with what they're telling me, it's the silver tsunami. So we're having more seniors come, and we really have to figure out what we're going to do for the housing situation, like Supervisor Parks was telling us earlier. No more new senior housing is coming. So what can we do as a community to help ourselves? So I talk about the other thing that I want to mention is what's unique about the program, and rather than going it on your own, is we have match support. So for the life of that match, whether it's 6 months, whether it's a year, whether it's 2 years, you have the Office of the Home Share staff to provide some mediation. Sometimes that's required. It's not necessarily that they want to be uncoupled, but sometimes there's some awkward conversations that need to be had, and some people don't feel comfortable with that. So they really do rely on the staff to help intervene at their request. They can be at our offices. Sometimes it's a phone call. Again, it's never us telling anybody what to do. It's more about facilitating that match process. So that's something that's nice to have. And, of course, we match for the benefits of both parties. So our locations, as I told you, we now serve individuals countywide, and to that end, what we've done is we've gone out into the community. So we have locations at I call it our flagship location at the Area Agency on Aging, where now it's under the auspices, so we're there at that location. We have the Simi Valley Senior Center. We're also at the Office of Supervisor Parks. And then our newest location that I'm really excited to communicate to you is we are at the Veterans Resource Center at E.P. Foster Library. So we're really reaching that other segment of veterans. So I'm really trying to get my tentacles out into the community and let people know that we're here to help. We're a very good alternative to the traditional matching process, and like I say, we put our public service commitment behind what we're doing with these matches. Satellite office hours at our flagship, of course, we're there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. At the Veterans Center, we're there on Tuesdays, 10 to 12. Simi Valley, we're there Wednesdays, 10 to 2. And Supervisor Parks' office, we're there Thursdays, 10 to 3, I believe. So those are our satellite office hours, where, again, instead of people traipsing over the hill and coming to the Ventura office, that's not necessary. You can come to our satellite office hours, and if need be, we will come to you. So just in short, this is another one of the communication pieces, again, that just shows that relationship that can be had. And I like to focus on the fact that there's two ways. There's a room for rent. I have a room for rent. I need my notes paid, but I need some services. So you come in. Sometimes it's really about parallel living. They're friendly, but not friends. But it's nice, especially for the adult kids, have mentioned it to me many times, that they know that someone's in the home with their loved one, with their mother or their father. And in the cases where they're friendly, but not friends, they will say, you know what, Monique, if I know so-and-so, if her car is not gone by 5 a.m. and she's not at Jazzercise, I know something's wrong. So it's really about having that extra person in your house. And sometimes they really do become friends. I have some of the home share participants that go to the movies, that go to dinners, that really become have that companionship that Supervisor Parks was alluding to earlier, where some people need that. They want that. As we know, as you all know in this particular population, as we get older, we sometimes close our circle. We're not as active. We don't have as many friends. So it's really nice for an individual, for their family, to know that there's someone in the house. So it goes beyond financial. It goes beyond services. It's just about community. So 10 reasons to home share. I'm hoping today that I communicate to you the importance of home share, why we can be a community value add, so that you can go back and talk about it with your organizations, with your friends and family. But here's 10 reasons. We're free. We're a free county program. Again, you don't have to go out alone and put something in Craigslist or put something in the Star and just hope, fingers crossed, that person works out and that they're going to pay their rent and that they're going to do what they say they're going to do. And in the paper, you're not going to be able to ask, can you come in and provide services? We're able to help you negotiate that so you can get those services you need, or a combination of both. It's housed at the VC AAA, so where seniors' interests, as I said, are our number one, although we're expanding the concept to include others. Something that's not on the list, but I want to mention, is that what's unique about having home share with VC AAA is we're able to connect them to services that heretofore they may not have come to the office for. Many times people come into our office, and because it's a thorough vetting process, because there's an interview, because we have an opportunity to interact with them, we might see that they have some other needs, and we mention, hey, did you know that we provide transportation? We have dial-a-ride tickets for free. Did you know that we have congregate meal services? Did you know that we offer some chore services? So they're able to connect to other services they may not have come through the door for because they may not have heard of us. And the other thing we're able to do is to get them in a benefits enrollment center and get a benefits checkup so they can see what other public benefits they might be eligible for simply by being of a certain age. And so I think that's really important and a really unique difference about us than other home share programs. As I said earlier, it's a better alternative than the Craigslist and the fingers crossed method. A detailed vetting process, background checks on both parties, reference checks, applications, and interview process. And it will be mutually beneficial because we make sure of it. It's a person-centered, so we make sure that both parties in the match have their interests served. And I like to say it's environmentally friendly because, as I mentioned earlier, it's utilizing the existing housing stock that we have. Because I don't see any new senior housing coming on the horizon. I just see an increase in senior numbers, and I see an increase in service needs. And this is a way that we can help address that and mitigate that. It's more economically feasible than other housing alternatives, and I like to tell the story of the couple that came through our doors. They are new to the county. They weren't aware. It was a bit of a sticker shock when they saw how much things cost here. They both are working, both have really good jobs. So what they're using the home share program is for is because they want to make a match for about a year, and they've communicated that it's temporary to the person that they're matching with, and they want to save some money so they can get a down payment on the house. So I really say that to communicate that it's people like you, it's people like me, it's young people, it's seniors, it's adult disabled who are able maybe to stay in their home, because it's about, if I've lived in my home for 50 years, yeah, maybe it's too big, but I don't want to move. This is where I raise my children, this is my community, this is where I live and where I love. I want to be able to age in place, and so having a person may help me, and I like that aspect. Home share staff will be available to support both parties throughout the entire duration of the match. And as I said, to let seniors stay home and age in place. And the biggest thing I like to harp on and communicate, it's the community helping the community. It's us figuring out the answers for ourselves because the housing stock is there. So if you have any questions after the presentation, I will be here around to answer questions. Like I said, I put some materials in the back for you. Here's our contact information. Please reach out to us if you have any questions, if you're interested in being a provider, if you know some seekers. If I can speak at any of your other organizations, I'm happy to do it because I really want to get that message out there that this program has been and will continue to be a value add to the community. So thank you. Thank you for your time and thank you for your attention. Questions? I'm back. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Of course.
Wow, what a great program.
Thank you.
Fantastic. I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Please. First of all, The two applications, are those available to fill out and submit online?
Yes, they're available for you can grab them online, but you still must print them and submit them. So you can scan them, you can email them, you can fax them, but right now they're not fillable. They're just downloadable.
I see. Thank you. And then secondly, is someone available to actually help with a rental agreement?
That's a very good question. Thank you for asking that question. We do provide them samples, and we encourage rental agreements to be made. We can't make them. Some people don't want to be that formal, but yes, we provide samples for the rental agreements, and we give them the services of the free legal clinic that's just across the street at the government center. So we really give them a lot of resources for that.
Terrific. Thank you. And then number 3, when you talk about a background check, what does that consist of?
Sure.
Please?
So a background check, as I said, historically was only made on one party. Now we make the background checks on both parties. We run them on the providers and the seekers, and they're aware of it. They fill out a form through the company that we utilize, and we're making sure we're doing a nationwide criminal search. So if I see anything, and of course I have staff that that reports to me, but if it's anything questionable, it's brought to me, and so I make sure that there's nothing untowards or there's no nexus between anything that they've done and putting them in, and that's going to put the seeker or the provider at risk. So we're doing a nationwide criminal search is what we're doing in addition to the
So there's a third-party vendor that does that for the county.
That's correct.
Beautiful. Okay. And then finally, I know at one point that this program started on soft money. Has it become institutionalized with the VC-AAA as a line item, and it's there for good?
Very good question. We're still in the pilot phase, and you guys had mentioned earlier about our award. That harkened to the hard work of the staff and the forward thinking of the board of supervisors and our CEO, Mike Powers, for believing in us and giving us the kind of the seed money to get started. It's not a line item. It's a pilot phase, but we're hoping for it to gain enough traction so that we can stay viable and operating. It's been around. I'm telling you, I see it. It's as I've explained, it's ebb and flow, and it'll die down, but it comes back, and I'm here to make sure that it doesn't go away.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right. I thank you.
Yes,
yes, sir.
As I was listening to you, I had the thought that I've done that. When I was a college student, I rented a room from a woman who lived alone, and she was a grandmother, and in exchange for lower rent, she made one request of me, and that was when I was home and she wasn't home, she asked me to spend a few minutes walking back and forth in front of a picture window at the front of her house.
Love it.
So that if there were bad people out there, they could see that there was a young male in the house, and that she wasn't quite so alone. So it made me realize just how diverse this arrangement can be.
It really can. It really can. And as it gains traction, people are aware. It will work. It will work. So, all right. Thanks again.
All right, thank you. After. Any other questions from the commissioners?
Can I ask you about how many? Whoops, sorry.
I'm here.
What's the volume per year that you deal with here?
Sure. Initially, the program was they were making about one match a month. We strive to make 3 to 6 matches a month, and that's what we've been hitting. And I hope as we communicate about the program that we'll get some more people. So again, as you can imagine, and this is a nationwide situation, we always have more seekers than we have providers, and that's why I like to deal with the elephant in the room, because it's off-putting for someone to say, "Hey, do you want somebody to move in your house?" Initially, the first response is, "No, I do not." But then when you communicate the benefits, you explain that it's just people like me, like you and I, and that we do have a thorough process. And what I didn't talk about, and I like to mention, is we've also started trial matches. So that means that you can have, before you as a seeker decide to give up your place, or before you as a provider decide that you want that person to move in, you do a trial match for maybe a weekend, a couple of weekends, to make sure it's going to work out. So that's really resonated with people, because it's a way to kind of put your toe in the water, and I haven't seen it not work out. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, before I adjourn the meeting, I've got a couple of reminders. One of which is that if you would like any information about the Council on Aging or have questions about agenda items on today's program, please call 805-381-7362 or email councilonaging@toaks.org. And the second announcement is that our next meeting is November 4th, same time here, so look forward to seeing you then. And we're adjourned.